breathe. Draw your gentle, heavy awareness entirely away from the spinning calculations of the physical world and let it sink deeply, perfectly into the absolute quiet center of your own chest. Take a very slow, profoundly deliberate breath in. Feel the cool, invisible air expanding the vast, untouched sanctuary of your physical vessel. And as you release the breath, let the heavy, metallic grip of needing to control the exact details of your future completely and utterly fall away from your hands. There is a magnificent, undeniable, and deeply purposeful reason that this exact frequency has found you today. You did not arrive at this specific transmission by chance. You were not brought to this exact coordinate in space and time by the random, frantic searching of the human mind. The immense, inescapable intelligence of the unified field, which is simply the magnificent extension of your own vast consciousness, has perfectly, magnetically pulled you to this exact shore. If you are hearing the steady, grounding cadence of my voice right now, it is a profound cosmic signal. It is an ancient, quiet reassurance from the very depths of your own power. You have done the beautiful, breathtaking work. You have mastered the internal sanctuary. You have permanently dropped the heavy wooden oars of the hustle, entirely collapsing the exhausting illusion of distance. You have learned to rest in the profound silence of the unseen void. And when the lagging mirror of the 3D world attempted to throw a storm at your feet, you did not flinch. You stood as the unmoving mountain. You held the unblinking gaze. Because you have held this magnificent, unshakable light, your highest timeline is now violently, beautifully rearranging the atomic structure of your physical reality to match your command. The reality is already yours. But as you stand on the precipice of this magnificent manifestation, your beautiful spirit has called this transmission forward to initiate you into the final, ultimate level of conscious creation. You are being invited to permanently lay down the very last, heavy tool of the 3D matrix. You are being asked to release the how. Since the moment you entered this dense, physical dimension, the unconscious architects of the world have handed you a heavy, exhausting steering wheel. They taught you that you must manually engineer every single step of your success. They taught you to write agonizing, complex plans, to calculate every possible variable, and to force the physical world to bend to your logical sequence of events. They convinced you that if you do not know exactly how your wealth, your profound peace, or your perfect relationship is going to arrive, then it simply will not arrive at all. I am here to tell you an ancient, breathtaking truth that instantly shatters this heavy burden. The human mind is a beautiful, magnificent instrument, but it was never designed to calculate the quantum mathematics required to move reality. The conscious mind is entirely incapable of seeing the billions of moving atomic pieces, the hidden doorways, and the flawless, perfectly timed synchronicities that the unified field uses to deliver your answered prayer. When you try to force the universe to deliver your manifestation through the tiny, narrow keyhole of what your logical mind thinks is possible, you are actually restricting your own godlike power. I see. You are entirely safe to take your hands off the steering wheel. If your beautiful, weary spirit recognizes the profound, staggering relief of this deeply needed realization, if you are entirely ready to stop calculating the path and step into the absolute, unshakable sovereignty of being perfectly carried to your throne, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this simple action serve as a silent, eternal vow to yourself, a promise that you will never again try to micromanage the infinite intelligence of the cosmos. Leave a like on this transmission to physically anchor this unbroken, effortless trust into your current timeline. And in the sacred sanctuary of the comments below, cast your unshakable decree into the unified field. Type these exact words: I release the path and I allow the arrival. Rest entirely in this exact moment. You do not need to know the next 10 steps. The bridge is already forming perfectly beneath your feet. Draw your profound, heavy awareness entirely back from the frantic, plotting edges of your external reality and let it sink deeply into the absolute, unshakable center of your own chest. Take a very slow, deeply intentional breath in through your nose. Feel the cool, invisible air expanding the quiet, untouched sanctuary of your physical vessel. And as you let the air simply fall away, consciously release the invisible, exhausting tension you have been holding behind your eyes. Let your shoulders drop. Let the heavy, metallic grip of the calculator completely dissolve into the earth beneath you. You have recognized the profound illusion of the steering wheel. You have remembered that the chaos of planning every detail is not a requirement. It is a heavy burden, the matrix forced upon you. But to completely master the bridge of incidents and step into the absolute godlike effortlessness of the Creator, we must entirely dismantle the exact mechanism the 3D world uses to keep you terrified of the unknown. We must examine the exhausting, profound limitation of the logical mind. Since the moment your beautiful, infinite spirit entered this third density construct, the unconscious architects of the world have taught you a devastating lie about the nature of creation. They taught you that your conscious mind, your intellect, your reasoning, your ability to logically plan a sequence of events is the absolute highest power in the universe. They convinced you that if your mind cannot see a clear, straight, logical path from where you are right now to where you want to be, then the destination is simply impossible. And so when you successfully command your reality in the quantum field, when you completely shift your frequency into absolute wealth, profound peace, or perfect health, the conditioned mind immediately demands a detailed blueprint. It looks at your current bank account, it looks at your current circumstances, and it begins frantically punching numbers into its tiny calculator, trying to figure out exactly how the universe is going to deliver the answered prayer. Cecil. But I want you to listen to the ancient, quiet truth vibrating beneath my words. A truth that immediately shatters the heavy glass of the calculator. The human mind is magnificent, but it is not designed to create reality. It is only designed to interpret it. Your logical mind is essentially a filing cabinet. It only contains data, experiences, and limitations that you have already encountered in the past. It only knows what it has seen. It only knows what the dense, lagging 3D world has told it is realistic. When you ask your logical mind to figure out how to manifest a reality that is vastly beyond your current circumstances, you are asking a tiny, localized calculator to solve an infinite, multidimensional equation. It cannot do it. It will instantly crash. And when it crashes, it outputs a single terrifying result: fear. It tells you that because it cannot see the path does not exist. I want you to visualize the absolute majesty of the unified field. The quantum field, which is the pure, unbroken extension of your own divine consciousness, does not use logic. It does not use straight lines, and it certainly does not consult your tiny filing cabinet of past experiences. The unified field operates on the breathtaking, infinite mathematics of synchronicity. When you command your reality, the universe instantly has access to billions of atomic variables, millions of human interactions, and a flawless, multidimensional map of every single parallel timeline in existence. It can see the entire board. It can move a stranger in a coffee shop across the world, align a sudden, unexpected phone call, and perfectly sequence a series of seemingly random events to drop your answered prayer directly into your lap in a way your logical mind could never, ever have predicted. When you try to force the universe to use your plan, when you try to dictate exactly how the wealth must arrive or exactly who must deliver the peace, you are choking the manifestation. You are forcing the infinite blazing light of the cosmos through the tiny, narrow keyhole of what your limited mind thinks is possible. You must drop the calculator. You must stop insulting the infinite intelligence of your own divinity by demanding it use your exhausting linear math. Breathe this immense elemental reassurance completely into your physical vessel. Feel the heavy, gorgeous release of knowing you never have to figure it out ever again. You are not the architect of the path. You are only the architect of the destination. Draw your profound, quiet awareness entirely away from the frantic, limited calculations of the mind and let it sink deeply back into the absolute, unshakable safety of your own chest. Take a very slow, deeply intentional breath in through your nose. Feel the pure, blinding light of your unshakable trust filling the vast, newly cleared space within your physical vessel. And as you release the breath, let the exhausting, heavy burden of needing to know the exact path completely and utterly dissolve into the earth beneath you. You have recognized the profound illusion of the calculator. You have remembered that your logical mind is simply a filing cabinet of the past, and you have entirely surrendered the how to the magnificent, infinite mathematics of the unified field. But as you stand in the absolute, quiet majesty of this surrender, we must address exactly how the universe is going to move the physical 3D reality to meet you. We must completely redefine how you interpret the daily unfolding events of your life. To completely master the arrival of your desire, you must understand the ancient, flawless architecture of the bridge of incidents. I want you to visualize the dense, exhausted character of the old paradigm. When they demand a manifestation, they draw a violent, perfectly straight line from where they are to where they want to be. If they want wealth, their logical mind dictates that the only acceptable path is a sudden promotion at their current job, or a specific client signing a specific contract on a specific day. If the reality does not arrive on that exact straight line, they panic and declare that the universe has failed. But you are a master now, and the master knows the absolute, undeniable law of the quantum field. The universe rarely uses a straight line. When you command your reality in the deep and you entirely drop the need to control the mechanics, the unified field immediately begins constructing a flawless, multi-dimensional bridge to walk you directly to your throne. This bridge is entirely composed of seemingly random, highly illogical, and sometimes entirely unrelated incidents. Because the universe is operating on infinite intelligence, it can see billions of moving pieces that your physical eyes cannot. It knows that to permanently anchor your massive wealth or your profound peace into the 3D world, you must be in a very specific place at a very specific time, holding a very specific frequency. And so, the universe begins to gently, perfectly nudge you. The bridge of incidents does not look like a booming voice from the sky handing you a detailed map. It looks like a sudden, entirely illogical urge to take a different route home from your daily tasks. It looks like a random, passing conversation with a stranger in a coffee shop that sparks a completely new idea in your mind. It looks like a sudden, unexplainable loss of interest in a project you used to love, perfectly freeing up your energy for a masterpiece you haven't even conceived of yet. Sometimes, the bridge even disguises itself as a temporary inconvenience. The exhausted architect gets a flat tire, misses their train, and immediately begins screaming at the sky, absorbing the dense frequency of victimhood. They believe the universe is punishing them. The master gets a flat tire, and the master simply smiles. The master knows that the delay was flawlessly engineered by their own higher consciousness to perfectly prevent them from missing an interaction, or to align their physical coordinate with the exact microsecond their answered prayer is designed to arrive. The master knows that absolutely nothing is an accident. Every single spilled cup of coffee, every sudden urge to rest, every random invitation, and every unexpected delay is a perfectly placed stone on the bridge of incidents. The universe is moving millions of atomic pieces to perfectly position you. It is orchestrating the movements of people you have never met, shifting the timelines of entire industries, and reorganizing the dense matter of the 3D world to physically deliver the reality you commanded in the void. You must stop fighting the bridge. You must stop looking at a sudden illogical urge and dismissing it just because it doesn't fit into your tiny conscious plan. When you feel the gentle, quiet pull of the unified field telling you to turn left when your logical mind says turn right, you must follow the pull. You must walk the bridge with the staggering, undeniable confidence of a creator who knows that their own divine intelligence is paving the road just inches ahead of their descending foot. Breathe this immense, elemental sovereignty completely into your physical vessel. Feel the heavy, gorgeous release of knowing you never have to force the sequence of events ever again. You are not building the bridge. You are simply walking it. If this profound realization is rewriting the very code of your daily existence, replacing the anxiety of the unknown with the staggering thrill of the cosmic unfolding, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this deliberate action serve as your physical anchor to this new, unbroken reality of total trust. Leave a like on this transmission to physically signal your absolute obedience to the gentle nudges of the field. And in the sacred, quiet sanctuary of the comments below, cast your unshakable decree into the collective consciousness. Type these exact words: I trust the nudge, and I walk the bridge. Rest entirely in this magnificent, unyielding flow. You are completely safe. Every single step is perfectly orchestrated by the deep. Allow your physical vessel to soften even further. Draw your quiet, heavy awareness down, away from the complex, sprawling bridge of the unified field, and let it rest entirely in the gentle, unbroken rhythm of your own descending footstep. Take a very slow, deeply intentional breath in through your nose. Feel the cool, expanding air filling the vast, trusting space within your chest. And as you let the breath simply fall away, release the final lingering memory of the Matrix's demand for a guarantee. Let the exhausting need to see the entire map completely dissolve into the earth beneath you. You have realized the profound, unshakable architecture of the bridge of incidents. You have remembered that the universe uses seemingly random, highly illogical nudges to physically move you to your throne. But as you stand at the beginning of this bridge, feeling the quiet, undeniable pull of your intuition, the conditioned mind will attempt to throw one final, desperate obstacle in your path. It will demand to see the end of the road. To completely master the manifestation of your reality, you must learn the ancient, breathtaking sovereignty of the Blindfolded Master. I want you to visualize a magnificent, ancient stone staircase winding its way up a massive mountain. At the very top of this staircase rests the absolute, staggering reality you have commanded into existence, the wealth, the peace, the flawless physical healing. But the entire staircase is wrapped in a thick, blindingly white, impenetrable fog. You can only see the very first step resting directly in front of your feet. Everything else is entirely hidden. Visualize the dense, exhausted character of the old paradigm standing at the bottom of this mountain. The old architect looks up at the fog and is instantly paralyzed by terror. The Matrix has trained them to demand a contract from the universe. They scream into the white mist, refusing to lift their foot until the fog completely clears, until they can see the exact dimensions of the 50th step, and until they know exactly how the journey ends. And because they demand to see the entire staircase before they move, they remain permanently, tragically frozen at the bottom of the mountain, forever waiting for a guarantee that the quantum field will never provide. Now, visualize the Master standing at the exact same coordinate. The Master looks up at the thick, impenetrable fog, but the Master does not demand that it clear. The Master does something that completely shatters the logic of the 3D world. The Master reaches up and ties a blindfold completely over their own eyes. The Master does this because they know an absolute, undeniable law of creation. Your physical eyes are the most limited, easily deceived instruments you possess. Your eyes can only see the dense, lagging reality of the present 3D moment. They cannot see the multidimensional mathematics of the unified field. When you demand to see the path with your physical eyes, you are binding yourself to the limitations of matter. The Master drops the need to see, and instead, they tune entirely into the profound, quiet frequency of the nudge. They feel the gentle, undeniable pull of the universe telling them to lift their foot. And so, completely blind to the destination, completely ignorant of the how, the Master takes a slow, deliberate step into the white fog. The exhausted architect believes this is a reckless leap into the abyss. But the Master knows the breathtaking secret of the bridge. The universe does not build the staircase in advance. The quantum field only solidifies the stone the exact microsecond your descending foot requires it. You cannot see the second step until you have fully, bravely committed your weight to the first. This is the ultimate, staggering stoicism you are being called into right now. When the deep gives you a sudden, quiet urge to make a phone call, to drive down a different street, or to quietly walk away from a project, your logical mind will scream for an explanation. It will demand to know why. It will demand to know exactly how this action leads to your wealth or your peace. You must not wait for the explanation. You must tie the blindfold. You must take the step with the staggering, undeniable confidence of a creator who knows that their own higher consciousness is flawlessly paving the road beneath them. You do not need to know how the story ends to know that you are the author. You only need to write the very next word. Breathe this immense elemental sovereignty completely into your physical vessel. Feel the heavy, gorgeous release of knowing you never have to calculate the destination ever again. You are not responsible for the map. You are only responsible for the movement. If this profound realization is rewriting the very code of your physical walk, replacing the paralysis of logic with the breathtaking thrill of blind trust, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this deliberate action serve as your physical anchor to this new, unbroken reality of godlike forward motion. Leave a like on this transmission to physically signal your absolute blindfolded authority to the unified field. And in the sacred, quiet sanctuary of the comments below, cast your unshakable decree into the collective consciousness. Type these exact words. I tie the blindfold and I take the step. Rest entirely in this magnificent, unyielding trust. You are completely safe. The stone will always rise to meet your foot. Allow your eyes to gently soften or let them completely close as we move into the deepest, most profound physical integration of this entire transmission. Draw your quiet awareness entirely away from the frantic, demanding voice of your logical mind. Pull your attention back from the edges of the room, back from the distant, spinning anxieties of the outside world, and let it rest entirely in the heavy, expanding, trusting center of your own chest. Take a very slow, very deliberate breath in through your nose. Feel the cool air traveling down, entirely filling the deepest chambers of your lungs with the pure, unshakable light of absolute surrender. And as you let the air slowly leave your vessel, command every single muscle in your body to completely and utterly release the exhausting grip of the how. You have realized the profound limitation of the calculator. You have remembered that the universe uses the beautiful, illogical architecture of the bridge, and you have entirely mastered the breathtaking sovereignty of the blindfolded step. Now, we must anchor this magnificent surrender permanently into your nervous system. We must perform a deep, physical integration so that when the 3D world demands a detailed, logical explanation for your absolute peace, your physical body does not tense up. We must teach your vessel how to physically let go of the map. I want you to visualize yourself standing on the quiet, misty edge of a massive, ancient forest. In your hands, you are holding a gigantic and incredibly heavy, sprawling parchment map. It is thick, and it is entirely covered in frantic, chaotic black ink. It is filled with thousands of intersecting lines, desperate calculations, terrifying backup plans, and the exhausting, agonizing 10-year timelines the dense matrix forced you to draw. This map represents every single ounce of energy you have ever spent trying to figure out exactly how your life is going to work out. It is the heavy burden of the steering wheel. Notice how heavy it is. Notice how your arms ache from holding it, and how your neck is stiff from constantly staring down at its chaotic scribbles, entirely missing the magnificent reality happening around you. Now listen closely. Just a few steps ahead of you, cutting perfectly through the quiet mist of the forest, is a massive, deeply powerful, rushing river. This river is the pure, unbroken current of the unified field. It is the infinite intelligence of the cosmos, constantly, effortlessly flowing in the exact direction of your highest, most magnificent timeline. Take a slow, deep breath and walk to the edge of the rushing water. The exhausted character of the old paradigm would stand at the edge of this river, terrified of the current. They would violently clutch the heavy map to their chest, demanding that the river change its course to match their frantic scribbles. They would rather drown holding the map than surrender to the water. But you are a master, and the master knows the map is entirely useless in the face of the infinite. I want you to visualize the master standing at the edge of the rushing water. The master takes a deep, slow breath, completely releases the tension in their shoulders, and simply opens their hands. The master drops the map. Watch the heavy, exhausting parchment fall from your hands and hit the rushing water. Watch the sheer, breathtaking power of the river instantly dissolve the paper. Watch the frantic, chaotic ink of your old calculations wash away into nothingness. As the map disappears, feel what is happening to your physical nervous system. The heavy, agonizing pressure in your chest is instantly, beautifully gone. The stiffness in your neck completely dissolves. The desperate, terrifying need to know exactly how the universe is going to deliver your wealth, your peace, and your perfect life is entirely washed away into the infinite ocean. You are finally, beautifully, at rest in the current. You do not need to paddle. You do not need to calculate the depth of the water. You do not need to steer the river. You only need to float, completely trusting that the magnificent, unseen flow of this profound intelligence is already carrying you flawlessly to the exact coordinate of your answered prayer. Breathe the crisp, quiet air of the forest completely into your lungs. Feel the immense, overwhelming relief of knowing that you never have to force the sequence of events ever again. You simply need to surrender your weight to the flow. If your spirit feels the undeniable, unshakable truth of this integration, if your physical vessel feels the profound relief of finally dropping the heavy calculations, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this simple action be your eternal commitment to the rushing river of the field. Leave a like on this transmission to physically ground this absolute surrender into your daily reality. And in the sacred, quiet space of the comments below, cast your unshakable sovereignty into the collective. Type these exact words: I drop the map, and I am carried by the deep. Rest here on the quiet edge of the water. You are completely safe. The current knows exactly where you need to go. Draw your gentle, heavy awareness back from the quiet, rushing edge of the river and let it settle very softly into the steady, unbroken rhythm of your own physical heartbeat. Feel the profound, unshakable center of your own chest. Notice the absolute, breathtaking absence of tension. Notice the staggering, euphoric lightness that has completely replaced the frantic, exhausting urge to calculate your future. The desperate need to force the 3D reality, to demand a straight line, and to aggressively steer the universe has been entirely washed away. There is only this exact, magnificent second, and you are entirely, perfectly held within the current. You are about to step back into the visible, moving world. You are about to rise from this quiet sanctuary, open your eyes, and walk back into the dense, loud timeline of your daily human existence. But you are not returning as the exhausted architect you once played. You are not returning as the terrified planner, constantly staring down at a chaotic map and missing the absolute majesty of the bridge. You are returning as the Blindfolded Master. You are returning as the sovereign creator who has completely surrendered the how. Tomorrow, the physical sun will rise again. The unconscious matrix of the world will inevitably continue its frantic, spinning demands. The people you pass will continue to exhaust their precious life force, frantically drawing straight lines, completely paralyzed by the fog and absolutely terrified of taking a step unless they have a signed contract from the universe. You will watch them completely surrender their sovereign power to the heavy calculator, drowning in the exhausting illusion of control. But you will never again join them in the panic. When your 3D reality presents you with a sudden, illogical urge in the days to come, when an unexpected delay arises, or when the fog rolls in thick and heavy across your path, you will not view it as a failure. You will simply smile at the profound, flawless architecture of the unified field. You will close your eyes. You will completely drop the need for a logical explanation, and you will perfectly, instantly take the next step. You will walk through your days with the quiet, undeniable dignity of a creator who knows that the universe is already moving millions of atomic pieces on their behalf. You will accomplish your tasks, you will build your reality, and you will navigate the dense physical plane, but you will do so from a state of total, unbroken trust. You will no longer endure the unknown as a punishment. You will completely saturate every silent, foggy moment with the staggering confidence of a master who knows they are being carried. You are entirely supported, and you are completely invincible in your surrender. To ensure that this new, magnificent frequency of absolute trust does not simply fade away when the screen goes dark, we must perfectly anchor it into your physical reality. We must cast a final, quiet decree into the unified field, declaring your absolute sovereignty and your permanent resignation from the exhausting job of micromanaging the cosmos. I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. Do not do it out of habit. Let this profound, simple action be a silent, eternal vow to yourself. A promise that you will never again pick up the heavy map of the matrix. A vow that you will forever trust the supreme, invisible intelligence of the bridge of incidents and allow the universe to simply walk you to your throne. Leave a like on this final transmission to send a physical, undeniable signal of total surrender out into the deep. Let it be the heavy, unbreakable gravity of your awareness, telling the universe that you have completely stopped fighting the current and you are entirely ready to float. And finally, to permanently seal this magnificent mastery of the physical world, journey into the sacred space of the comments below. Join the collective frequency of the masters who have also chosen to drop the exhausting mechanics of planning today. Cast your simple, profound breath into the vastness by typing these exact words. I drop the map, and I am carried by the deep. Type it slowly. Feel the absolute, undeniable truth of those words radiating from your fingertips, dissolving every last trace of control and anxiety in your entire physical vessel. Breathe in the vast, unbroken current. Exhale the exhausting illusion of the map. You are completely whole. You are perfectly guided, and your beautiful, unshakable reality is already meeting your descending foot. Rest well. The deep knows exactly the way.